Hello students, welcome back. This is Dr. Mercado. I hope all of you are doing wonderful and are enjoying this chapter 14 that we're covering, which deals with adjustments for a merchandising business. Okay, now like I stated before, reading is critical. Make sure that you read before you attempt any of your problems, and please, if you have any questions, concerns, have issues understanding something, please let me know, but please be specific. I've been receiving some messages, Miss, I'm lost and I don't understand anything. Okay, there must be something you're understanding. If you're reading the content, there's a lot of examples provided. I need a little bit more detail as to what in specific you are not understanding so I can go over it. But I also need for you to read, to review your PowerPoints, to listen to my videos, and then after all of that, if there's any videos from Cengage, you view those videos as well. And then after you're done with that, you get with me with specific questions, okay? I can track who has opened up and listened to my videos. How long did you listen to my videos for? If you've downloaded the PowerPoints, I have access to identifying if you've utilized all of the resources that I have provided. Okay, it's not just, well, I'm just going to shoot Miss Mercado an email and tell her I'm lost and, that's the end of it. No, okay, I expect students to, put their part into it, utilize all of the resources that I'm making available to you, and then after the fact, if after all of those resources have been exhausted, you still don't understand, you get with me with specific questions, and then I'll help you answer those questions, okay? So, now in this particular lecture, I am going to be going over exercise 14-8. Okay, let me go ahead and jump over. Okay, so this problem deals with journalizing, adjusting entries for a merchandising business. Okay, it says the following partial spreadsheet is taken from the books of Venice Vegetable Market for the year ended December the 31st. We are being asked to journalize the adjustments in a general journal. Okay, and our adjustments have been, notated with letters. We're going to go in that order. That way we know which ones were done first or second. So this is fairly easy because they've given you the entries here. All you have to do is transfer the information from your spreadsheet to your journal. For me, the most difficult part is completing your spreadsheet. Okay? Having to figure out, what do I have to debit, what do I have to credit in my adjustment columns in your spreadsheet, which is what we did in the last problem that we covered, which was exercise 14-6. Okay, that is the difficult part. The journalizing of it, it's a piece of cake. Why? Because we've already done all of the work. Okay, all we have to do is transfer this into a general journal format. Okay, so these adjusting entries are going to be dated December the 31st. Okay, so let me go ahead and just insert another column here and just format the date a little bit different. That way it'll be December and then the date right there. Okay, 31st. Let me customize this to a general number. There we go. Let me just, okay. So that way we have the month and the date. Very good. That's what I was needing. December the 31st. Okay. So all of these are going to be dated December the 31st. We're going to start with A, okay? Letter A, what are they doing here? Well, what they're doing here is they're canceling off their merchandise inventory, what they had, so they can update it with the correct amount of merchandise inventory that we have. So what we have here is we have a debit to income summary and a credit to merchandise inventory. Okay, so what it's doing is canceling your original merchandise inventory balance so we can get ready to record the correct amount. Okay, so first step is reverse what we had. What are we going to do? We're going to debit income summary for $45,000 and we're going to credit merchandise inventory for $45,000. Let me put some commas here. Okay, so that is happening. That is the first thing that is happening. Okay, so I've already used those and I'm going to mark them off. That way I know that I have used them. Okay, have used that one. And I have used that one. And that's just for me, just so I won't get confused. Okay. Now, let's do letter B. Letter B is where they're actually posting the correct amount of my merchandise inventory. So we went from having 45,000 to having 50,000. So now I'm recording the correct amount of my merchandise inventory. I'm going to debit merchandise inventory for 50,000 and I'm going to credit income summary 50,000. Okay? This once again is happening as of December the 31st. So I have a debit to merchandise inventory for the correct amount of 50,000, and then I'm going to credit income summary for the 50,000. Okay, and let me mark those off, that way I know that I have used them. We want to make sure we don't miss a number. In accounting, it's super easy to skip a number or to enter an incorrect amount and then having to figure out what did we do wrong. Okay, there we go. Now letter C, let's locate letter C. And letter C is we have a debit of 2,000 to my unearned membership fees, and then I have a credit of 2,000 to my membership fees. So that's pretty straightforward. So I've got a debit to my unearned membership fees for 2,000, and then I've got a credit of membership fees for 2,000. And make sure that you pick up the correct amounts. Letter C. Okay. There we go. Now letter D. Letter D, we went from having 10,000 in supplies and we used up 7,000 during the period. Okay, so the 7,000 represents the amounts of supplies used during the period. So supplies expense is going to be debited 7,000 and supplies is going to be credited 7,000. Okay, so supplies expense, this represents the amount of supplies used during the period, is going to get debited. And then the supplies account, which is an asset account, is going to get credited for those 7,000. Okay, let me mark those off. Okay, there we are. So that's letter D. Letter E, we've got depreciation. We've got a debit to depreciation expense for 5,000, and we've got a credit of 5,000 to accumulated depreciation for the building. Okay, so we're going to enter it as is. So we have our depreciation expense for the building. That gets debited 5,000. And then I've got a credit for accumulated depreciation for the building of 5,000. Okay, so I'm going to mark those off. That way we know that we have used them. And then we've got 5,000. Okay, so that's letter E. Now we have the last and final one, which is letter F. And letter F, let's see what it is. We've got wages payable of 1,200. So we've accrued some wages and we have not paid them, 1,200. And then we've got wages expense debit of 1,200. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to debit wages expense. Remember, debits always go first. And then we're going to credit wages payable. Okay, $1,200. Okay, let's mark those off to make sure that we have used everything provided. And be careful when you're doing these entries. It's very easy to skip a number or enter an incorrect number. Okay, so there we go. Those are all of our adjustments. They have been transferred over to the journal. All of the work had been done for you. The adjustments had been done for you on the worksheet. All you needed to do was transfer it from the worksheet into a general journal format. Now, just for purposes of me making sure that my debits equal my credits, I'm going to add my debit column and my credit column just to make sure that they are equal, and they are. So that gives me some peace of mind that my transactions are posted correctly. Okay, so these are my journal entries dealing with a merchandising business. Okay, the spreadsheet had been provided. Using the spreadsheet, we had to journalize the entries. Okay, so that is basically it for this lecture. Please practice your homework problems. Remember that you have 2 attempts. I keep the highest grade earned. If you do not score a 70% or greater on your homework or your quiz for the chapter, please make sure to utilize that second attempt to try to improve your standing in the course and earn the most points possible. As well as in accounting, practice makes perfect. So the more you practice it, the more you're going to understand it, the more you're going to become familiar with it. So if I'm giving you 2 tries, you don't do so well in the first one, please use the second attempt to try to, improve your grade and understand the material better. And if after the second attempt you're still having issues, please reach out to me to whatever area you're having difficulties with, so we can try to clarify any questions that you might have. Okay, so that is basically it for exercise 14.8. I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and until next time, thank you.